The Buckleys are a band of siblings, Sarah, Molly, and Lachlan from northern New South Wales, who released their debut album Daydream in 2020 and the EP Take It As It Comes in 2022. Last year, they released the single Wondering, and this year, Too Fast. In my opinion, they are one of the greatest live acts you'll ever see, and I think they're the sort of band you should crawl over hot coals to see live. But I'm going to ask them about that and let them convince you. Hello, Sarah, Molly, and Lachlan.
Hello, how are you?
I've seen you play at Fanzone. I've seen you play in a venue in Sydney, and in the Sydney show, I had with me a friend who's been in bands for years. He's still in a band. He's a very hard marker, and he just turned to me and was like, "What? What is it? Like, this is the most awesome thing." I was like, "Yeah, they're completely awesome." So
thanks so much.
That's insane. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. So I want to actually ask, I know it's really hard to talk about the dynamics of what you do live, but I would like to talk about it because I think talking about the work of live performance is really interesting. So I'm going to start there. When did you start playing together?
Oh God, well, we've been playing together pretty much forever. I mean, we started officially as the Buckleys probably about 13 years now, 12 years ago.
Yeah, 2011.
But before that, we had this, like our dad's a musician, firstly. So we would jump up at his gigs and play along and then like kind of jams around the house and things like that. And then we also started a jam session at one of our local pubs when I was like, maybe 10 years old. We're way too young to be hanging out in pubs every Wednesday night. But there we kind of, played like every week together. And then eventually down the road we became the Buckleys when I was, I think, like 12 or 13. And so it's kind of been this natural progression and evolution, which started out just like at the pub with Dad.
All roads lead back.
Yeah, exactly.
But Molly, for you seeing Sarah jumping up when she was 10 and you were younger, did you think, oh yeah, cool? Or did you just think, oh no, that's Daggy, that's what my sister's doing, I don't care?
Well, oh God, it was just so normal for us. Like, I didn't think it was weird at all. Like, we were all playing together. We actually have like a film clip that we've definitely like put in the lock. Like, we're not showing this to anyone until it's like 10 years and it might be seen as a cool thing. but yeah, it's like at that pub and
which is actually where we shot the latest video. The latest video, Too Fast.
That's our original jam session.
The Billy Nigel pub.
Yeah, shout out to Billy Pub.
Yeah, but it was always fun, you know, when we were so young, and that's where I learned like mandolin. Literally, Hillbilly Robbie, who lived over the hill, quite literally over the hill from the pub.
Walking distance.
He taught me like mandolin, and it was just such a fun grassroots way to start.
And didn't you have an early song about him?
Yeah.
Robbie.
Well, you've hacked into the vault, have you?
Well, no, I looked up my original interview with Sarah and Molly in 2020, and the song was mentioned. Yeah. So I also was realizing when I interviewed you, of course, it was I published it in April 2020, so that was lockdown. But let's not dwell on that. Lachlan, whenever I've seen you play, you have a very impressive array of guitars, one of which is this 12-string situation that I have no idea how you can even start to play. So when did you begin playing guitar?
I started probably in year 7, so it would have been 13 or 14. 22 now. And I started on bass, actually. Bass was my original instrument, and then guitar, a couple of years after that. And it's just kept progressing, and for some reason I started making my life harder with a double neck guitar. But I love it, and it sounds great on the songs, so I ain't going to be stopping that anytime soon.
Yeah, and it is impressive on stage. And of course, now, Sarah, you play bass. So you're the lead singer and you play bass at the same time. So was that a negotiation between the two of you as to who would be the bass player?
No.
Oh God, not really. Literally, I became the bass player out of necessity.
Yeah.
Because we were in lockdown and we just couldn't find, we just never had, the bass player that stuck. And so I was like, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to learn how to play bass.
Yeah, we always had friends playing with us. Sarah was always playing acoustic guitar. And then during lockdown, we're like, well, we can't stop playing music. So Sarah was like, oh, pick up the bass, and then dang, we have a free bass player.
Keeping in the house.
I was 1 week away from learning. Thank God Sarah did it.
That could have been a negotiation,
then I was like, I got to one-up Sarah now, so now I play double bass.
Right.
Big upright one.
What do we like next?
Although Molly's been playing playing bass in Wondering because I play piano and it's, I don't know. Who knows where we'll end up?
Well, and I hear that mandolin's actually really difficult. So maybe Molly, you have the harder job there.
Yeah.
Well, and here was me saying, oh, let's not contemplate lockdown, but of course it did have a benefit for you, which is that you have your current playing arrangement, live arrangement.
Yeah, there are some good things.
I wouldn't have been a bass player if it wasn't for lockdown, and our live show as well. Like you mentioned, like we had always done stuff pretty loose, like playing at the pub and just making up set lists as we go and things like that. And during lockdown, we did this TV special for Daydream called Daydream at the Church, and it was a full like produced set and everything like for TV, and so it was super like we produced every single second moment, and so like developing the live show as well. I don't think would be the live band that we are, ironically, if it wasn't for lockdown in some ways. So there were definitely a few things that came out of it.
And how do you feel about the bass now?
I love playing. I can't believe I never didn't.
She broke a string at our last gig.
Yeah,
it's not easy to do. I would imagine I used to play bass years ago. They're thick strings.
Like Flea could break a string from the Chili Peppers.
I know one of the mains, like with the A string, which is like, but you can't. It's like pretty essential. You can't not really.
Thank God it happened. It happened right at the end of our set though. It was like the last solo I remember playing. I'm like, God, why do we sound so bad? Sarah's string just broke. I'm like, God, Sarah.
Sarah once again.
No, I love it. It's it's been super. I don't know. I would say, I don't know. I just love playing it. The rhythm. I've always been kind of more rhythm focused anyway. Like even when I play guitar, like my right hand,
she's got a heavy hand.
So
I love it.
Well, now between siblings, there are things you can take for granted for both good and bad, I think. So I'm wondering, what are the good things you take for granted about each other when you're performing? So the things you can sort of assume about each other, if that makes sense.
Ooh,
we can just tell each other to F off.
With eyes.
Without any repercussions, because we just get it's like a water over a duck's back, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's the little cues that you can, we can pretty instinctually tell what someone's thinking on stage, which is good.
That's true.
What else?
It's so much fun. Like, I don't know, it's just like we siblings, so we're like insanely comfortable with each other. So it's just so different being on stage with your siblings, and you can just like be idiots.
And you have each other's back as well. I think that's the trust, which is important in any band. But I think, just like 100% that this person has your back and it's gonna like support you in what you're doing is really important as well.
Most of the time, unless we're not getting along that day.
That's all I'm working.
But I guess there may also be times when, because you have that connection, you can assume that you're all on the same page about something, and then it turns out that you're not. So has that ever happened where you've actually, like, there's been an unspoken agreement, or so you thought, and then you might get into a live situation, it's like, oh no, actually, we're not all here together. Something's going wrong.
I'd say we're pretty vocal people. So usually,
do you mean like live still?
Yeah, or even just within a musical setting. I don't mean in a personal setting. We don't need to know about your sibling negotiations at home, but it's
that
more
gets
just
violent. No, verbally. Sorry.
Maybe not. I mean, I think it's just my impression of seeing you live is that there is that. It's almost like you're in the same slipstream together, which is part of why it's so cool to see you as a band. And I don't use the word cool very often, but it's just that sense of you're just all riding the current together.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
There have been a few times.
That is what it feels like. And even, whatever happens before we go on stage, it's like when you're on stage, like not like it just flows so easy. And it's like, it's
Yeah.
There
have been a few times though when I've started a guitar solo and kept going without, just to be like having too much fun.
That's probably the main one. I'll cut a song too early.
Yeah.
I was in the middle of my solo.
If we're ever not gelling, it's because I'm trying to extend the solo and I haven't told anyone or given any.
Or he just goes ahead and me and Dylan, our drummer, we're just looking at each other like, the song's going to keep going endlessly.
Yeah.
And Lachlan, does that mean that if you want it to keep going, you just turn your back on them so they can't see you to indicate that it should stop?
Yeah. And then I'm like, why aren't we stopping anymore?
That's what he does. He just just turns his back. And we're just trapped. It's like, at the whim of this one, not a good place to be.
Musically trapped on stage.
It's a good passive aggressive way to deal with it. It's like I'm not saying anything. I'm not doing anything to interrupt. Yeah. So, generally speaking, how are your conflict resolution skills with each other?
Food is always the way to go. Space and food, and then it's all right.
Yeah. Space and food.
That simple, really.
Yeah.
Burger.
Agreed.
Agreed.
I also think that slipstream thing I've observed would probably also come from rehearsing a lot. Like, it's one thing to have the agreement amongst the three of you, but that doesn't mean anything if you actually can't play your instruments and you're not great at what you do. So I'm presuming there is quite a bit of rehearsal for the Buckleys.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we rehearse a lot, and it's good that we're all close. So we can rehearse as much as we want, because we're not, hiring in people all the time.
We don't have to
that
book
don't
in a
have
place.
time, and
we have a rehearsal room at our place.
Yeah, exactly.
We all live in the same property.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's good.
Well, that is very handy. So Sarah, as the front woman, you have to conjure up a particular type of energy for performance. What happens at the times when you're not feeling it? And actually, this is a question for any of you, because your live show has a lot of energy to it. And I'm sure there are nights when you're just like, I don't have it. But Sarah, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's something that I feel like you always just, I don't know. I just always try to think like, well, I'm a professional. So like, get out of whatever I'm thinking or feeling personally and do the job. And I kind of look at it like that. Like our dad's a piano man. And so like he's always played to, like covers and things to audiences. And like your number one job is to make sure the crowd's having a good time. And so I'm always kind of like, yeah, I'm there to make sure everyone else is having, the best night of the week or month or whatever, or hopefully, more than that. And just give everyone, I don't know, you're there because you want to make the audience have, a fantastic time and enjoy it. And I try to leave all that. And honestly, I kind of naturally do that. I forget about it. I mean, I'm so in my element and I feel so comfortable and I love being on stage and connecting with people. So I kind of end up just, it's like a narrow kind of tunnel vision and focus when you're up there, and then everything else goes away anyway. Yeah.
And is that true for you, Lachlan, as well?
Yeah, I reckon for sure. Yeah. Yeah, no matter what's happening. And sometimes you can like channel whatever's happening off stage into your performance as well. But definitely, like, as soon as you're up there, everything's different.
And we've been doing it for so long.
And there's people raging, loud music.
Totally.
Everything's forgotten. Bang. You're playing rock and roll and country music.
And Molly, you always look like you're really enjoying yourself. And I don't want to presume that you always are, but it does always seem like that. As an audience member, that's lovely to see.
Yeah, for sure. It's just like, it's totally a happy place. It has been our whole lives,
Yeah. And so when were the very first Buckley songs written apart from the Hillbilly Robbie one?
So Lachlan's laughing at my answer.
The very first Buckley songs, when were they written? I mean, I started writing songs a lot earlier. I used to write songs with my friends, like when we lived in Coffs Harbour, and I was like, God, I was in year 5, I think, year 4 and 5, so I don't know, how old does that make me? Like 10 or something?
Sitting down with Dad in Coffs, and we wrote a song about like the dolphin. We love.
That's the original Buckley album that you'll never hear.
I forgot about that. Oh no, way earlier. Yeah, what was that called?
We wrote a song because we love the dolphins at SeaWorld, and so I was like, let's write a song about it, and we wrote
Don't say that.
Oh God. Yeah, no, we did. We actually did have an album we made with Dad. What was it called? You've got Buckley.
That's the one.
That's what it was. You've got Buckley.
That is gold.
That was the album with Dad. It was Dad on a piano and me and Molly singing. We must have been like 6. Jeez.
Yeah. Wait, I could probably find the photo, but it's
there is
like
a photo.
we're on our auntie's keyboard, grand piano. In the bathroom, and Sarah and I like stand in there, and we're like tiny. It's so cute.
So way back then. No, we started writing songs ages ago. Yeah. Like I said, always kind of done it. There's not really a beginning. Just kind of.
I think there were dolphins in the film clip for Breathe, weren't there? So there's like that full circle moment. maybe consider writing more dolphin songs. I don't know. But are there any copies of You've Got Buckleys around, or have you just...
Yeah, exactly.
I think we left all the CDs in a house that we moved out of.
We did.
I think we're gonna get blackmailed with it one time.
We did. We left all the CDs in the house we moved out of in like Avoca Beach in, I don't know, 2007 or something.
Shame, because they're genuine Buckleys mementos now. Someone's got them, presumably.
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe. Hopefully not.
So what is your songwriting process now, or your songwriting and development of song process now?
Well, I write all the time. I kind of write every day anyway. I don't know, my process, it always changes. I always just kind of write notes in my phone of like either melodies or just concepts or lyrics, or even just like random trains of thought, which if anyone read would be really weird.
Listen to this bass line, it's like
yeah. So I'm always just like, ideas, and then whenever I find a minute to just like, I don't know, start writing something, I do. And then
the process to a song is just always different. It could be a cool drum beat that groove to it, or
Oops, I Love You, actually, I wrote, me and our little brother Dylan were just playing, he was playing drums and I was playing bass, and we were just jamming, just practicing random stuff. And then I just kind of stumbled upon bass line that ended up being in the song. And that's kind of how that, and then I just was like, oh, that's kind of cool, I might record that, and then ended up writing it, later. So just wherever the idea kind of initiates.
So when it comes to choosing what you're going to record, do you look at the totality of what you have and think, well, let's go through everything and choose something, or do you actually have an idea of, I don't know, from the time of writing it, do you have that instinct of this is something that we should record?
Sometimes, I mean,
sometimes if it strikes a nerve.
Yeah, sometimes it is like as soon as a song's written, we're like, oh, this has definitely been released. Like, soon, like on the next EP, the next single, like something like that. Other times, like we got a big old folder where we'll just chuck all the songs in, and then we'll sit through and listen to it all, and just kind of narrow it down. Yeah, we actually did recently.
I feel like I never know that. I mean, sometimes you have the feeling of like, this is really cool, but often, I don't know. I don't always.
It's, oh gosh,
there goes the drum. It's pretty loud. Give me 1 second. Okay,
I'll pause. So I guess part of the advantage of the three of you not only being siblings but having played together for so long is like you're like a built-in critique group for songs, and hopefully you don't take too much offense if there's criticism, because as you said, Lachlan, earlier, you can tell each other to F off and it's not really going to matter. So, or it can't stick.
No, it is. Yeah, definitely good to have. Yeah, I mean, we all really respect each other's opinions. So that's good. But no.
Joking. We do.
Yeah,
we actually do. We do.
But it's good. We can be honest and our feelings most of the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, part of what I'm going to read this question because I wrote it in a particular way. Part of what I love about the band is that your recorded music induces joy, and I think that experience is amplified in a live setting as well. And that's my impression, at any rate, as a listener. But I'm curious as to what you think your impact as a band in. And I really do not want to use the term mission statement because it's too popular, but. Because in thinking about your music, I'm like, I just always feel happy when I'm listening to your songs, even if they're not happy songs or technically happy songs. So I'm wondering if you have a sense of what you want to put out into the world and then you pursue that, if that question makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, thank you, firstly. I feel like definitely like when I'm writing, especially like always my goal has been to like, evoke the feeling that I get when I listen to my favorite songs and artists, which is a lot of the time, I mean, it doesn't even matter. It's not even a genre thing or a musical thing. It's just like a feeling that you get. And so that's really nice to hear, because that's always been like my goal as a songwriter, is to like evoke that feeling. So I feel so happy when I listen to
feeling of like authenticity and vulnerability, and if that can translate like from the writing all throughout the process of recording, then the release, and then for the listener, it's the best
Yeah,
thing.
and same deal when we're playing live. Like that's the end goal, to make people happy and enjoy themselves. So if that happens, then mission success.
But I also think it's really hard to achieve with three of you consistently. I think it's often something that might fall on a front person to carry it through with a band and really take the energetic load of that and the emotional load of that. But the three of you have that intention. So I think again, it's part of your power as a live band and a recorded band, is that you all have that intention and you've sustained it. And I think there's a little, this is not to sound too twee about it, but there's a little bit of magic in that, actually, because it's not really a spoken thing. It's not like you all sit down and go, well, hey, let's create some joy today. It's actually just something that flows through your work, as you said, Molly, from the authenticity of it. So I guess you unconsciously or subconsciously have that intention every time you get into rehearsal, every time you get into a studio and get on stage.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of it is also our upbringing. Like our dad, I mentioned, has been a piano man most of our lives. And so he is like the sole purpose of what he does and what he's always kind of taught us to do is to like give everyone else like that, like a fantastic night. And yeah, whatever that means, like whatever the songs you're choosing to play or how you're playing them and how you're interacting with the audience, like the whole purpose is it's not like about you and, oh, this is my performance, sit down and watch it. It's like, how am I going to make you guys feel and, leave an impression that's hopefully, joyous and positive.
Yeah. But there are a lot of things that can get into the way of that. There can be your self-doubt, there can be ego, there's all sorts of things that can trip people up. So yeah, that's a comment more than a question, just to acknowledge that I do think it's a rare thing to be able to keep pulling it off. But Sarah, you talked about wanting to share the same sort of feeling you have as a listener to your favorite song. So I'm going to ask each of you what you're listening to that's bringing you joy at the moment, or that is on your permanent list of things that you love to listen to.
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm listening to a lot of there's some really cool female, in particular, country songwriters in Nashville that are doing some, making some really cool music. Lauren Watkins is one of them, Carter Faith. Oh God, there's a bunch of them coming out of Nashville at the moment, and Australia actually. I don't know. There's just some cool, like confident but still vulnerable. Meg Moroney's another one. Yeah, it's like confident, it's vulnerable, and it's real country storytelling, and like real great lyricism. So that's currently what's on my playlist.
Molly, what's on yours?
No, I'm listening to the same.
All right.
The same exact, like a bunch of Lauren Watkins, just the authentic songwriting that's like coming out at the moment. It's really special, and I think the whole kind of industry is shifting to this place of artists selling, not in a bad way, but like selling themselves instead of like a product. You know what I mean? They're selling their story and their their artistry instead of doing like copy paste. So yeah, that's pretty exciting. It's really fun to see that evolving.
Yeah. And Lachlan, your playlist contains?
Mainly at the moment, Hank Williams Jr. and Tyler Childers. Tyler Childers, another great lyricist.
Is it Childers or Childers?
Childers, I don't know.
It could be whatever you want it to be.
I know it's Childers, but I don't mind.
I'm not sure. Yeah, lots of Tyler's stuff. They're great music as well. Like, that's why I love Hank. Mostly like classic 80s country swing, 90s country swing, and Tyler's same kind of feel as well, and a little folky, somewhat bluegrass arrangements and stuff. Great lyrics, and amazing voice.
So from So from the time you started releasing music, your sound was distinct and distinctive, and so it's remained the same, even though you've moved through different songs and different moods. I think on the songs, there's an identifiable Buckley sound. So I'm wondering, given that you started jamming, given that you all have different things you like to listen to, what you did to actually create that sound between the three of you, what decisions you made, if there were any, or whether that was just a result of jamming and you came out with this sound that you loved.
I mean, we've never sat down and been like, oh, we should sound this way. You know what I mean?
Although I think there was a definite, like with Daydream in particular, the album, there was a definite intention, like we wanted to make this like recording with a live band, for example, was something, and is something that a lot of people don't do these days. They'll kind of build tracks, and we were like, no, like we were really inspired for Daydream in particular by bands in the 70s like the Eagles and Fleetwood Mac and things, and so that was something like we definitely even like had some like disagreements with people on like some people in the industry was like, no, let's just do it this way, it's cheaper, and we were really quite conscious of the fact we wanted to do it live. And then there's a few things, I'm trying to think of what else, but there's definitely some...
we're definitely intentional.
Yeah, no,
what
exactly.
we want to do and what, you know, where we want to be and the future of it. But I'd say, you know, the sound in terms of what we like playing and all that came pretty, like we all came pretty natural, and we've always loved
that's like
music.
our thing.
Yeah, we've always loved country music, but also, you know, been influenced
lots of other genres
by many other things. So it kind of just is whatever the hell it is.
Well, it works. Now, Sarah and Molly, the last time I saw you was in the middle of last year, and it was at the Junior Academy of Country Music in Tamworth, and you were there because your younger brother Dylan was there as an instrumental student. So I'm wondering if he is to be the fourth Buckley in the band.
Yes, well, he is actually playing drums with us at the moment, so we've taken him on the road.
He's walking the tightrope.
So he'll be in Tamworth with us, and he's on the road.
What do we call it? Probation.
He's on probation.
Everyone has to come to our shows. Let us know what you think.
He's an awesome drummer though. He's only 16 though, so
he's
probably finish school or something like that. Get some sort of an education before you're fully
before he turns out like us.
Well, and also I'm trying to imagine what the conversation might be like if he doesn't make the cut. It's like, I'm sorry, little brother, we don't like you enough.
It won't be like that.
Yeah, no, he's all right. He's in, but I don't know.
But
let him turn 18.
He's still on probation.
Yeah, as far as he goes. If you see him, don't tell him that.
Or maybe if you hand out scorecards in the audience and, you know, the rest.
Scorecards? That's savage.
You can bring one to our gigs. I don't know what you mean.
Hold up the poster.
Out of 10, what does he get?
It's
subtle feedback, you know, it's like that 360 feedback that happens in workplaces. Now, at the time we are speaking, you are about to go to the Tamworth Country Music Festival, and you first played there busking in 2011, and you were in the top 10 finalists for the busking competition, which was a very good showing for your first outing ever. So I'm wondering whereabouts in town you busked, if you can remember.
Oh, we busked.
It was right next
Commerce
to the
Centre. Wasn't it like where the council?
Yeah, I think it's like at the front of the council thing, chambers.
What do you call it?
There's a statue.
There's a statue of a man sitting down. I can't remember what the statue is.
I don't know. Yeah.
We really should know what that statue is because it's a classic Tamworth one, but please forgive us.
Somewhere around there.
just in front there. That is. But then we also had a few other. We did a few others as well, so we're not sure exactly which one
the one we have footage of is like that.
Yeah, that statue.
Yeah, we did some on the ground. We did one. There was a stage set up there once upon a time.
Yeah,
on the street.
It's pretty competitive, you know, for people who haven't been to the festival and seen the busking. There's a lot of it going on. You're often very close to the next artist, and everyone's trying to get attention. So, did you just love it from the time you started doing it?
I mean, it was fun. I can't remember
It was good. It's good to do. Like, we also needed like probably petrol money home. So we're like, let's get on. Let's jump. You know.
And also, you can't really get like at that point we couldn't get any gigs anyway. So it's like, well, we'll just play on the street.
Exactly. It's definitely like I can't believe Mum and Dad did it because it's not easy, especially like
our dad played with us as well.
Yeah, like Dad on keyboard, kick, drum. And then Lockie on bass, you know, like it was actually a big setup, but you know, Dad lugged in all the gear and helped us out, and I can't believe they put up with it, but you know, they did, especially in the heat. But yeah.
And so after that time, did you actually busk again, or was that the only year you busked?
I think we might have done it the year after that, or maybe the year before that even. Yeah, we did a couple.
Yeah, we've done a bunch.
What did we do? You know, I think we did it the next year as well. But we started getting gigs after that as well. So it wasn't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember. It was a long time ago.
Well, and there have no doubt been a few festivals for you since. So, in heading back to the festival, what do you look forward to the most?
Honestly, I think our favorite part of it is like just catching up with all of our friends that are also in the music industry that we don't get to see a lot of the time, and so
it's just like
just
once
a great
year, you know, it's the
once a
yearly
year
catch up,
family reunion.
The energy of the town is awesome as
Yeah.
well. Everyone's there to enjoy themselves, and everyone loves country music.
Exactly, and it is so nostalgic for us. And actually, this year, that was kind of the focus we went into this festival with, which was just, you know, let's make this a great time with all of our friends, and it's basically like a family holiday every year for us. And so we're doing these Buckleys and Friends Hoedown Throwdown shows, which will literally be what we used to do a few years back when we did Buckleys and Friends shows, and we just invite a bunch of our friends to come up and jam and have a good time playing music. So we're really excited to do that show, 2 of those shows, as well as like Toyota Park and Casey Barnes support. So that'll be really.
And also at the time we're speaking, you're about to go on tour with Kingswood, which sounds like a very good match of bands. So I'm half wondering / hoping that may continue throughout the year, but you probably can't say anything if it does. So
yeah, well, we'll see how we go. We're super excited though. We love Kingswood, and we met a couple of the guys on Cruising Country. And we just had a great time together, and so we were like, why don't we do some shows together? So here we are.
Super excited.
So yeah, it'll be great. I mean, their music is so awesome, and for a while we've been wanting to do something together. So it'll be great. Yeah.
So you live in the Byron Bay area, and I have a question for you about that, which is, how do you put up with the traffic? Because it seems like everyone who goes there comes back saying, the traffic's terrible.
Yeah, we live about half an hour out of town.
Well, we don't go in the main way to Byron, so I haven't like dealt with the traffic in years. Like I hardly ever deal with it.
Yeah, it's the back way.
If you go the back way, which is I see my favorite cows. I see the best view because you're up on the hills. That's definitely the way to go because you don't really cop the traffic. But if you go the main way in,
avoid at all costs.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask you the secret back way because then everyone will take it and then the traffic will be there.
Yeah, exactly. I'll tell you afterwards.
Yeah.
Or I'll sell you and we'll tell you next time.
Now, post-pandemic in that area, is there much of a live music scene? Did things take a dent?
It did at the start for sure. We kind of got out of lockdown, and it did. I feel like for everywhere it picked up slowly, but now it's getting pretty damn healthy again, which is good. Yeah, but it did take a while for people to kind of get out to shows. It wasn't still playing, but I feel like it took a while for.
Yeah, but we just had like Pacific Avenue come through the northern.
Heaps of good bands, yeah.
Yeah, just some solid live shows recently.
Heaps of good local bands as well. Back up and going.
Now, I'd imagine logistically for you, it is a pretty good spot. You're close to Brisbane Airport or the Gold Coast Airport, and you can get down to Sydney if you need, but you can still live in a beautiful part of the world and not have to put up with traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah, very lucky, very lucky.
It's good. It's very good to come home to.
So for the rest of 2024, you've been releasing singles, been a couple of singles since the EP. This is usually the signpost that perhaps there might be a bigger body of work coming along. Is there? Can we cross our fingers?
We're definitely working on stuff. So what it ends up eventuating into, we're still working it out. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of new music that is on the way. I mean, I've written so many songs. We've all written heaps of songs. We would, like Molly said, just went through a big Dropbox file of all of them. So yeah, working out.
Yeah.
We're really excited.
None of us have gone through a breakup, so the songs aren't going to be sad.
We'll see.
Well, look, breakups are a good motivation for songwriting, but there is joy in the world to write about as well, I'm sure.
They're very fun to write.
And there is one song, Sarah, you mentioned this about this song when I saw you play live in Sydney. The song "Breathe" was released amidst various pandemic movements going on, and from what you said, you've been contacted by people around the world who really connected with that song. So I imagine that will stay in your set list for a very long time to come. But I'm wondering what you think it is about, or any of you, what you think it is about that song that really did resonate with so many people.
Yeah, I know, it's interesting because that one especially has connected. I don't know what it is. I think it's the message of like just the chorus is so I don't know, it's almost like an action. It's like breathe, baby, just breathe. I don't know. It's like I don't know, it's just like a reminder almost. So I don't know, maybe it's that. I don't know exactly.
Maybe
I mean,
the timing of it as well. It was kind of released when everyone was in such, everyone was kind of spinning. And so maybe it was the timing as well that had something to do with it.
Yeah. I don't know, there's something about it. Even when we play it, the chord structure is kind of interesting. I don't know what exactly, but the chord structure Chad came up with, and it's I don't know, it's got some interesting, like, it's an interesting lift into the chorus. I don't know, nerdy things like that probably helps. But overall, I'm not sure.
Also, I think it's got a great first line. That inversion of "take it or leave it" into "leave it or take it" actually is really memorable. Like, it's just this, it's like, oh, and I remember the first time I heard it thinking, that's really clever. But you sort of think it was there for the doing, that inversion of a classic phrase, but it just, it's very clever. So that's one of the reasons why I love it. But as I said, that song will probably stay in your set list for a long time to come. You are playing live at the time we're talking. You're about to do a run of dates, which I will put in the notes for this chat, because I will get it out before you get to Tamworth, and people can have a look at your website for upcoming dates. I certainly hope you come back to Sydney soon, but our live scene is probably not as strong as yours in Northern New South Wales.
Yeah, no, we'll see you at Meatstock in Sydney.
Oh, Meatstock, okay, yeah.
So
there are no vegetarian options.
Sorry.
You are.
I'll bring a lunchbox.
We'll bring you some stuff.
Some tucker.
But hopefully a good backstage rider with kebabs for you.
Yeah, we'll add some stuff to our rider for you.
Have you been to a video? Have you seen bull riding before?
I have, actually. I wrote a book about bull riders a few years ago with the PBR. So, and I think the PBR are at Meatstock.
Yeah.
That's sick. I want to read that.
Where do I find that?
That's sick.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up now.
That's dope.
I'll tell you after we finish recording. So
Awesome.
Actually, I'll let you go because you're about to do some rehearsing. It was so great to talk to you, and look forward to seeing you live. And everyone else should look forward to seeing you live because you're fantastic. So Sarah, Molly, Lachlan, the Buckleys, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much.